Major news in the midst of all this war and conflict. We have some major crypto integrations coming live as we speak and some bigger ones on the horizon. Does this change everything for the crypto market? We're getting this underway here in just a moment. Everybody hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. Make sure you're paying attention to what's going on. We have some critical levels on Bitcoin and some overwhelmingly amazing levels on altcoins that we want to be paying attention to. So everybody lock into your shorts, hold on to your butts, because we got some major signals we're going to be diving into right now. So I want to know that you are alive and well. Drop a GM and the city that you're tuned in from right now. Drop a GM and the city you're tuned in from in the live chat, and let's get this underway. Let's talk about these markets. Let's go. What is up, fam? It is just that news cycle that never stops, chopping the markets in both directions. And this is why we have a plan of action, both to the upside and the downside. When you're looking at the macro picture and it is overwhelmingly bullish like it is for Bitcoin and crypto, yet we're getting all this geopolitical nonsense just absolutely chopping out any sort of risk on mentality that there is. So you're seeing the altcoins take a pretty big spill. You're seeing Bitcoin take a pretty big spill, but is it really, look at it, $105,600. Is it really that big of a spill? We're still holding above $100,000, but we're seeing some trouble in the markets that may spell further downside. What is it? Make sure you hit the like button so that you can follow along with what we're doing. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep you on the right side of this trend because we're seeing some bearishness potentially come in. While this has felt so good with the S&P 500 rebounding as it has, this is yet to break above this previous high, which would be a new all-time high. As it stands right now, the price action is sitting right here at a lower high. And I do think that there's probably some indications that this may have an opportunity to come a little bit lower in S&P 500. And the reason this is important for crypto is if the S&P 500 is rolling over, and this does have a little bit more downside, I think this would be in line with what we're likely going to be seeing in altcoins as well. Bitcoin will likely see a little bit more move to the downside if this happens as well. However, remember, Bitcoin is still holding above that 100,000 level. In fact, where we're at today, this is the daily chart. If we measure this, this is coming, let's see, all the way back to here. This is 36 days that Bitcoin has been above $100,000. It doesn't mean it's going to stay here. It doesn't mean that we can't see that dip to the downside. But remember, dips right now in the crypto market are an absolute gift because the macro picture is so bullish for the digital asset environment. So we need to make sure that we do not mess up what we're doing. We got some incredible charts we're going to be going through right now here in just a moment. And some of those, namely, being what's going on with Bitcoin and what's next for altcoins. We had a great discussion yesterday with Max over there from Bitcoin Magazine Pro platform, talking on-chain, talking signal. And what we're really seeing overarchingly is still the macro picture. And I just want to highlight this because this is where we're at. Do you see the level that the price of Bitcoin is at right now? It is sitting right at the zone, right in line with this mega pump gateway that we've talked about in that $110,000 region, but also this projected trend line from the two tops we saw back in 2021 here, ultimately peaking at just above $69,000. But projecting out, look, both of these tops, both rejected with slight deviations above, reject, came down, retested this previous range high, and then boom, launched right back up into the zone. And there's some weakness in the near term, not in the macro. If the price action does pull back further and we get this dip back into the mid 90s, clearing out that CME futures gap, tapping where the short-term holder cost basis is, tapping where the 21-week moving average is, and the 200-day moving average as well, then that would be ultimately still very bullish. That would be way up here where my mouse is. If we got a further dip down into these zones, I think this would be a gift from God buy zone if this happens. In fact, let's hope this happens. Of course, this will spell a lot of uncomfortable people in the market, but you and I are here. We're looking at the charts on a daily basis. We're looking at the data, and we understand that nothing is going to get in the way of the bullish trend that is happening and forming and staying intact here with this bullish market. If the market does break down further, then everything's broken and it has nothing to do with Bitcoin and crypto. The markets are seeing an overwhelmingly large pullback, but hey, that just may mean a lot more patience is due, but some incredible buying targets will be there. But ultimately, these are the zones I'm watching. I think this is the least likely. This is somewhat likely, and on the lower side of this likely target range, I think this is most likely where the Bitcoin price is going to go in this market, this bullish market cycle. The low side of that being in this $158,000 range. This would be right in line with the 2.618. This is the fib. If we come over here and look at this on the chart, let's pull it up. Looking at this right here, where is it at? I just want to, I had it all queued up. Guys. Hold on. Did I not? Bitstamp. Here we go. All right. There we go. Now go to the 3-day chart, double click out. Okay. Looking at this target all the way up here, this likely target zone, the 2.618 is about $156,000, $158,000. This is a 2.618 fib of this zone. If we measure from the top there to the bottom there, you can see this is on, it's on the daily. That's why, boom, there we go. The 2.618 fib here, let's measure, boom, right in there. That would show the 2.618 right on this zone. The 3.618, the top side of this range, would be over $200,000. This would still be in the cards for me. And the hype target, this is if we're starting to get all of these, like the US, already installing by the end of this year into early next year, this buying pressure of stacking into a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And then, of course, the astronaut zone is if stuff just goes absolutely ape crazy and we just get a flood of capital, not only from institutions, corporations, governments, but also that individual retail stacking also coming in. This is potentially in the cards in this zone from 289 all the way up to 360, but this is much less likely. I'm looking most predominantly at a target zone of, basically right in this region, right in here, the bottom side of this likely target range. So while a lot of people out there are looking at the markets right now and they say on the 7-minute chart or the 5-minute chart, the market's crashing because of this. Well, ultimately, even if you come out to the hourly, ultimately, nothing's really changed here. The price is basically the same price it was back here on June 7th. Same price it was back here on June 2nd. Same price it was back here on, May 30th. Same price it was back here on May 20th. So we really ultimately only been trading in a range with slight deviation up, slight deviation down, slight deviation up. And yet again, everybody's so locked into the noise in this market that they're forgetting to zoom out and look at the macro picture here on Bitcoin and realize the structure here is pointing to the upside. Furthermore, I think we have graduated from Epoch 1, which is everything in Bitcoin. Everything that Bitcoin's done from January 2009, the Genesis block, all the way until January 11th, 2024, when the Bitcoin ETFs got approved on the 10th and then went live on the 11th. And that is what marks right here, this institutional stage. This is where it's like, yeah, the run up into the excitement about it, the slight dip into it, and then ultimately all this consolidation as people were trying to figure out what this meant and institutions are stacking in. Then the data comes out about how many institutions stacked into this market. You also see Bitcoin ETFs, the assets under management that were stacked in this first 300, basically under 400 days, beating every ETF in history. The new crypto administration is elected, the Trump administration, which is so bullish and empowering to the crypto market, reversing a lot of this sort of just squashing, controlling, foot on the throat operation choke point 2.0, removing all of those terrible regulations that were basically, completely squashing the industry, limiting the industry. Now, boom, we have this next phase here, which ultimately leads me to believe not only are these going to be the targets, the downside risk at the end of this cycle is going to be a lot less. I don't think we're going to see something like this in this cycle, this, massive sell-off 70+% to the downside. I think we're going to see something like this along the way with every several years, a larger move of 40% to maybe 55% to the downside. I think we need to lock in because the noise right now about everything going on, the noise with all of this conflict stuff is only putting things into perspective as to where the real risk is. And that is not holding Bitcoin. The real risk is not stacking in to the asset that the world is flooding into right now. The problem is retail's not acknowledging that the world is setting up the entire infrastructure to flood in. Institutions are taking advantage of it. Governments are getting situated to take advantage of it. And yet retail, the majority of people out there on the street, you talk to them, they still think Bitcoin's the fake money, not realizing the dollars in their pocket is what the fake money is. So let's go through some of these things because we also, the bullishness here is Shopify, major online commerce, major storefront. Shopify partners with Coinbase and Stripe to roll out USDC stablecoin payments starting this June with full launch by end of 2025. The ability to utilize crypto technology to make payments. This is going to be one of the largest onboarding, and it's not just Shopify, it's also who? Amazon. Amazon, $2.2 trillion. Amazon is looking into using crypto stablecoins for payments. In 5 years' time, you're going to notice that there's the companies that are around that are really sustaining on the web front, especially, if they're here and if they're involved at all in any sort of real commerce, they're going to have stablecoins as a very real and large subsection of their market share that they're using for stablecoins are going to be used for payments. Now, it's not just Amazon. You see the trend continuing. It's also Walmart. Amazon and Walmart reportedly considering launching stablecoins, but when? The question is, when are Amazon and Walmart and a number of these other tech giants going to be implementing stablecoins? I think part of this is twofold. One, it's on their agenda. It's on the horizon. It's in the board of directors. They're talking about these things because they have to keep up with the speed of technology, the efficiencies, the ability to shrink their margin of cost to do business, driving more profits. The efficient means that stablecoins provide of speed of transaction and also lower cost and the transparency aspect of all these things, you cannot move to the next best technology. And that's where we're at right now. We're in the middle of this technology getting rolled out. So think about stablecoins. Think about the rails that they're on, like Ethereum, like Avalanche even has some stablecoins, Cardano. Basically every layer one out there. Solana is going to be a major player. XRP, of course, Quant. We are going to see a major evolution and uptick in the amount of integrations that we're seeing the world over. And this is going to have an overwhelmingly dramatic impact on what this means for the crypto market. And we have the Genius Stablecoin Act that is going to be, I think, voted. The final vote is going on Tuesday next week, only a matter of days. The same time the FOMC meeting is going on, that's Tuesday and Wednesday next week. And now we're seeing PPI, Producers Price Index, the thing that front runs CPI. PPI has dropped, CPI has dropped. We're seeing now issues with war. What happens with conflict? You tend to have a large growing number of costs, especially as it relates to defense. What we're seeing in the world, we're seeing the global M2 money supply explode higher. And now this puts us in a position where maybe we get a shocker next week. Maybe we get a rate cut, whether it's 25 basis points, half basis point, or even a full basis point like Trump is calling for. We're in for a very interesting next few months, depending on what happens here, because the market is still pricing in large in part. Let's actually look at it. CME FedWatch tool. We're going to pull this up live together. CME FedWatch tool. This is where the market is sort of showing you their bets about what's going to happen for Fed cuts. Remember the other day, is the Fed going to cut? That's this measurement here. The other day it was 0.1%. The next day it was 0.2%, which technically is a doubling in that metric. But now we're up to 3.2%. So we need to keep our eyes on this. If this still remains as it is, and we get any sort of a rate cut or the tonality in the press conference following the rate decision, if there's no rate cut, if they say we're going to be moving more aggressively to rate cuts on the next FOMC meeting, that would itself be a very different change in the discourse, the talking points from the Fed if they were to move something like that. So we need to pay attention to this weekend. I expect a little bit of bearishness. I hate to break it to you. I am an overwhelming bull on this market, where this market's going this year. In fact, I think there's going to be a massive bullish push into the end of the year. But in the near term, in the next few days, I do think with everything going on geopolitically, that there is a call for concern. And what I mean by concern is that if you're very bullish and you need the price to go up in the next 3 days, I'd be a little concerned. I think that we need to be looking for dip buying opportunities because I do think there's going to be more that present themselves in the next few days as some retaliations are likely to come from the conflict that's going on in response to the massive event that we saw last night over in the Middle East. So let's, and I'm not taking sides or this and that. I'm just saying when we're looking at the markets, let the market show you where the targets are. And that's what we break down for you here. Shout out to Crypto Crank. How would you or me send a stream link to each other? I could say, I can send a stream link to you. Not on this show because I'll get one to you on a DM, brother. That's for Crypto Crank. We got the crew in the house. Shout out to everybody in the room. We got about 1,500 of you tuned in. Big love to each and every one of you. But let's go through. We got a couple more things. We got the stablecoin integration, Shopify, Amazon, Walmart. The world is waking up to needing to integrate the best evolution in technology we've seen in 30 years. In fact, probably one of the most impactful we will see in our lifetime. And we're at the forefront of it before these integrations are happening. So stay calm when we're seeing some of this bearish choppiness in the market. It couldn't be better for those that are paying attention, because if you are paying attention, you have some local downside targets mapped so you can take advantage of the dip, so you can take those profits in the rip, baby. We got a couple other things I want to go over. This right here, namely total crypto market cap. When we look at this, man, this is not the MACD. This is the DCO macro trend oscillator. This takes into account a number of different metrics. And notice that here, when this was all red on the flippening here, that also marked where you really, the kickstart of the parabolic trend to the upside. We've had enormous amount of upside from the market cycle low following the FTX collapse. And this, of course, is the total market cap. So every crypto charted here in their market caps. The bottom side here, yes, massive growth from this low to where we're currently at today. And yet only now are we getting to the point that we saw right here on the chart. You can see where I'm circled here. This was the small little shelf here, little consolidation, and then this is where it launched. We are on the cusp of that right now. As scary as the market feels right now, sometimes it's darkest before the dawn. And yet it's only dark if you're zoomed into a super small time frame, because look at the incredible bullishness we've seen here. Look at the incredible bullishness we've seen in this market cycle for Bitcoin. And we have so many factors at play right now indicating that so much higher is coming. So hang on to your butts. Find those targets you want to layer in, or get out of the charts and go play in the sunshine. Find a puppy, find a hand to hold, go hug somebody, snuggle, do something outside of the charts if you're getting stressed out right now, because do not mess this up. Then we see this, altcoins will shine after the final shakeout. This is from Crypto Seth. Are you ready, gladiators? I know all of you are that are tuned in here, but what we're seeing here is, look at this. I mean, look at this, this underheatedness for the altcoin market, the alt season indicator, how low this is. This is in relationship to the speed at which the top 100 is moving in relationship to Bitcoin. And when you have all things in markets, these data signals oscillate. They rotate from being very underheated to expanding back to being overheated. We have been very underheated here for the altcoins for some time, and this is setting up with a nice bottom, looking like it's going to be set up for major moves in those altcoins you've been holding on to. And one of the interesting indicators I love to look at in the crypto market is DOGE. You can use DOGE as an indicator for altcoins and for retail. And when you see the shape that this has taken and all of these previous cycles to where we're at right now, if this were to play out again, then one, if we get an expansion beyond this 45-cent zone, we might be hitting that dollar zone, especially if there's an exponential more number of players that are in the market. But you have to remember, Doge also has an exponential larger amounts of coins that are available as well, because it's got a really high inflation rate on Doge. But if we get that exponential retail flood that comes in, if this happens, this will also be right in line with a lot of your altcoins running like mad. Now, beyond this, I just want to close. I just want to remind you, if Amazon and Walmart get into the stablecoin game and enable crypto payments, right? Amazon is a number 4 Amazon is the number 4 company in the world. Walmart is the number 12 company in the world. We also have Shopify, which we also just highlighted as integrating stablecoin payments. But we're having some of the world's largest companies in process right now of figuring out how they can integrate and deploy the ability to use crypto payments at their stores. And these companies, just between Amazon and Walmart alone, that is millions into the hundreds of millions of people that reaches, that is going to bring crypto to their doorstep. This is going to be a bigger signal, not only for the end users to be able to use crypto payments, but also for all these other companies that are trying to maintain their dominance and also grow. If companies are not growing, they're dying. Every one of these companies made it to the top of this world, ranking of market cap for how large their companies are. 3.5 trillion for Microsoft, 3.5 trillion for Nvidia, 2.9 trillion for Apple. They only do this because they maintain growth over time. And if Amazon's jumping in, if Walmart's jumping in, if we see Google's been working on tooling for crypto wallets and different, I'm sure they're working on crypto payments and stable coins as well. But JP Morgan Chase integrating with ONDO and some of these other players out there. Visa is working with stable coins. MasterCard's working with stable coins. We are seeing the world migrate at an exponentially fast pace towards integrating, utilizing, accepting, and championing the crypto ecosystem. And yet some people are worried right now because there's a conflict in the Middle East and we're getting a 5% drop on Bitcoin's price. What are you looking at? I'm looking at the data. I'm not being held hostage by my fear of needing it to go up this moment. In fact, if this is so bullish, we are in for the biggest slingshot that you could even imagine in the crypto market. So if that's the case, I'm looking at dips. I'm saying, how can I get my capital available to be prepared to buy? And if that's not the case for everybody, because not everybody can pull up dry powder that easily, then educate yourself in the market. Get active in these different channels and learn about different projects. Learn about trading strategies. Learn about how to navigate markets. And if that doesn't float your boat, then get out of the market entirely in terms of your attention. Keep your money there, but put your attention back on your wife, your husband, your brother, your mother, your father, your son, your dog, your guitar, your oboe. I don't care what it is. Go outside and swim. Take advantage of this time in the best way that serves you. And don't do it in a way that the moments that you're spending are stealing from your future. If you spend time with friends and family or with your passions, that's not stealing from your future. But if you spend your time doing something that completely drains, has no end output, what the hell are you doing in the most exciting time in history? Shout out. I see all the family here's in the chat. Caleb PV, how you doing? Granny's Garden, Objectively Real Reality, Objectively. King Peasant, Alexander G, Jimbo Khan. It's so many folks in here. Shout out again to Alexander G. I love it seeing when you do those time codes on the channel. I do appreciate it. But just let's go through some of these coins real quick. It's going to be a little bit shorter show. I got about another maybe 10, 15 minutes. But Bitcoin is sitting, knocking on the doorstep. Come on, knock on my door. Right here. This trend line that projects out. It's sitting right here at the intersection of also this trend line that comes back here to 2022, this bouncing, rejection, rejection, bounce, rejection, bounce, bounce, rejection, we've got this intersection right here, this gateway that we've talked about on the previous shows, really the 110 to 113, 110 to 112 range. This is that gateway. Very similar. If you look at it on this, look, this is why I have different charts so you can see stuff in a slightly different way. But although this feels so scary, in the previous conflicts around what we've seen in the Middle East, this has regularly come back and tested the 50 moving average. This is the daily. Over here, 4MA. If you want to pull up these moving averages, come right here to this little indicator here. It says indicators, metrics, and strategies. Type 4MA. Boom, like that. If you want to be able to find it easily, just put the star on it, and then you can find it right here in your favorites so you don't have to search it. But then you can click right here on this little square, this little gear wheel, and you see we got the 50. I have these backwards, but the 21, the 50, the 150, and the 200. The 50 is the orange line. You see that? 50, orange. So the orange line on the daily, this has come back and touched the 50 in previous conflicts that have escalated around what's happening in the Middle East before. This is a very normal thing. And even outside the conflicts, having the price action come up here into a bearish divergence, mind you. Look at this. The bearish divergence right here. See this? Flat. What do you see here? Much higher highs. Bearish divergence there. Weakness coming in. And so now people say this is because of the conflict. Is it? Maybe. The charts are also showing you that weakness was here. We talked about it last week. The fact that this is holding for over a month now above $100,000, even with the conflict, this is fantastic that this is bouncing at the $102,000, $103,000 level. If this is lost, not the end of the world. We still have this $100,000 level, where this bounced. Now, if this loses, I'm looking at the price coming. Look at this moving average right here. The 200 moving average on the daily is right in the zone that we talked about last week. And here's the deal. I'm not saying price is going there. I'm saying that I am prepared. If the price breaks down, I have the next target in place so that I don't get triggered emotionally when it happens. Most people only go like this. They go, this is going up. So they look at all these targets, and when it comes down, they go, oh, what the hell am I supposed to do? Sell, sell, sell. Only to have it reverse and they lose everything. Don't do that. Strategy here, everybody. Strategy. That's what this is about. And this is actually holding up quite beautifully. This is looking a bit bearish. So I'm prepared. See how I have these different charts all highlighting similar areas with different trend lines. I look at this with fresh eyes on different charts. This is really screaming this $98,000 to $96,000 level. If this comes down there, it wouldn't surprise me. Because of that, again, I'm not saying it's going to, but I'm expecting some more activity in the Middle East this weekend, some retaliations and such. If so, I would expect this will at least test back to this moving average, maybe a quick swing down. If this is able to hold through this weekend with all of this nonsense going on, then I think, one that screams bullishness. And then I'd be watching for, basically retaking this 106, $107,000 levels. Where is, I thought I had here we go. Liquidation levels. Let's just look at it real quick. Liquidations. Yeah, look at this. So 102, this is on the 3-day, this is a 24-hour. Yeah, 24 hour. So yeah, 10. So we have, look at this, 106.8. That's where we have all this liquidity above us, but there's a little bit more liquidity below us down here into the 102.5, 103, this zone. If this comes down and scoops this up, I'd be watching for a bit of a long squeeze. And if that happens, we'll probably get a pretty quick pop down that might test 100 or lose it. Now, if this is the case and we get this, because this looks bearish. See, stair step, boom, boom. Are we going to get that next leg to test this region? I don't know. We did bounce here. On the RSI. We're right now at equilibrium at the 50 line. That when the daily chart has price action down in this zone and it gets rejected like this. See this pushes up to the 50 line, rejected. Well, what happened right here? Boom. Look. Okay. It's full reversal. But look, the RSI rejected at the 50 line. What happened? Boom, bears in control, loss. So this is happening right now. Again, watch the RSI at this level. If this starts to show signs of weakness and gets rejected, then this like will also at minimum come back down to about the 103.2. And if that's lost, then I think we're going to be coming down further. So on the altcoins, by the way, We did about 20, 30 minutes in the Discord this morning with the fam, the BitLab family, the Discover family, the Blockchain Basement family. That link, I don't think I shared it in, it's not pinned in the top of the live chat, but come right here on the video. If you're watching, see this more right here. Join us in the Discord right here. Join Discord, that link right there. I will actually pin this in the top of the live chat. Give me 1 second. Join us in there. We did about 30 minutes of altcoins, market talk, all this kind of stuff. TA, really benefits you guys to get in there. I'm going to post this over in the live chat here on Rumble. Boom. Hey, BitLab, what's up? Maui Jimbo. Maui Jim. My favorite sunglasses, Maui Jim. There we go. Get involved in the Discord, guys. If you're a BitLab member, you can, and you're a paying BitLab member, currently paying BitLab member, drop me an email to office@hitnetwork.com. Let them know you're a paying member, and also share your Discord because we can check and verify. Share your Discord username, not that just the visible name, but there's actual Discord user ID, and they'll get you activated. And we got some special discounts coming as well for some players that have been part of the community that maybe have canceled in the past. So I just wanted to shout out, we are doing a lot in that in the Discover Discord, the Discover investment group. Ethereum's holding up beautifully. Sideways channel, boom, 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 boom. This did break up really, got rejected on the level that we've been watching, that once it really clears through this, that I think we're gonna get a lot of bullishness. It just bull trap up to it and then back down. This is looking still the same as it has. If this breaks down and loses this 382 fib at 2378, 2350, if this is lost, then I'm watching for the target down here into the basically 2200 down to about 2150, this zone here. If this is able to just hold in here, and the market looks like it's going to be bearish, but it holds and the bulls are defending the zones, this is overwhelmingly bullish for the markets looking into the rest of this year. If this is able to push back up, I'll be watching a little bit of a rejection at 2644. If that, like a resurgence up to here, rejection back down, and then stair stepping down. If this breaks through this, find support, then that can launch. But we're seeing that across the board with a number of the altcoins. ONDO, as we predicted on the channel over the last few weeks when this was up here, watching the target down here, it came into it, boom, broke bullish out of this falling channel, but it came right back down into this box that we have. If this is lost, I'm expecting the price to come down to the lower 70s. As we have kind of lined out here. But again, I'm really stacking into things right now. The lower the prices get, I'm so excited about what's coming in this market, and I can't believe that we have an opportunity where we're getting a dip at this point that still has such overwhelming strength in it in the market. So do not fret because you're worried in the near term. Take advantage of the worry in the near term so you can profit in the long term, baby. And when we look at this, we also see AERO saw some pretty big spikes to the upside with the crypto summit we saw yesterday from Coinbase. Look at this massive move, retrace down, where to previous level highs. Look, boom. It's like, where's it going to come back to? Boom, previous level highs. That's what you need to see. And look at this exploding up again. Great on AERO. Link also kind of trapped in this zone. Trapped in this very tightly compressed zone. Link is, look at this, just compressing into it. I think we're going to get a monumental move out of Link. Solana also looking quite, it's ready to frustrate. Solana is looking ready to frustrate. We've come right into a trend line that goes all the way back to 2021. We've gotten rejected twice. Boom, boom. Now we formed a head and shoulders. If this target plays out, then we're looking for to flush out down in here to the 120 region, maybe a little bit below. If the market finds strength here though, and this is just trying to fake people out, then we're looking at that next move to come back up to 178 and beyond. But I gotta let you go, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. We're rolling off. I got to run to the bathroom. You can see I'm doing the pee-pee dance. But I'm going to shoot you over to the blockchain basement. Get in that Discord. Make sure I just want to say appreciation to our channel partners, BitcoinIRA.com. Go check them out. Best crypto IRA you can get. Trade 75 different crypto. Protect yourself from all the tax losses you get when you're day trading, if you're going to be holding long-term anyway. And of course, L Bank, our channel partner, and GetArculus.com for the best crypto cold storage solution out there. Use code BitLab20 at GetArculus.com for the best crypto cold storage solution. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Drop a comment down below this video as it ends. Where do you think Comment down below this video, whether you're on Rumble, whether you're on X, whether you're on YouTube, drop a comment down in the live chat down below this video. At what price point do you think Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to end June at? Let me know in the comments down below. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Adios, muchachos.